Night of the Living podcast is always ad-free for patrons at patreon.com/NOTLP.
Heyo. We're still doing Hispanic Heritage Month, but Louis is at a Wilco show tonight, so he won't be joining us, but he did send a pic.
For him.
He will co-host again next year.
Yes.
Yep.
That was good.
Thank you.
If it's your first time, I'm Freddy.
Good.
That's Amy.
Hey there.
There's Andy.
Hey.
And Kelley.
Bonjour.
Every week we discuss a horror, sci-fi, or fantasy film, and then we do a
You're
segment.
doing that intro.
Yeah.
The hey, you're new here intro.
You're new here.
Mm-hmm.
We also do a segment called Straight-to-Video Russian Roulette, where one of us reviews a straight-to-video movie, which is a term we still use.
Means nothing anymore, but
Right.
it's a movie that is not widely released in theaters.
It's funny, we also don't use gun sounds anymore. So
don't.
it's a whole thing of things that aren't things anymore.
It's a bunch of anachronisms.
Yeah.
It's just like, why is it called that? I don't know. It just always has been.
Yeah. 2006.
Yeah.
Since 2006.
Established.
Speaking of old,
Back when we used
episodes,
to actually play Russian roulette.
when we would really play Russian roulette for kicks,
For kicks.
because Kelley needs the thrills.
It's a different time.
Yeah.
You know, it was acceptable then.
The internet wasn't as exciting as it is now.
It was appropriate.
Yeah.
No one thought it was weird.
The paint budget for the studio was outrageous.
It was.
Outrageous.
Covering up all those blood stains.
That's where all the fucking fundraiser money went.
Cleaning up crime scenes.
Mm-hmm.
We lost a lot of really good, really stupid people.
Yeah.
But then we finally changed to red paint, and then problem solved.
Yeah, we calmed things down a little bit.
You guys are gross.
So you
Patreon.com
joke about that stuff.
/NOTLP if you want to check out old episodes of the show.
We have Origins for you, where we record an intro from today about the past.
It's the new adventures of old NOTLP.
Time keeps on slipping. And then
was
Topacana,
Yeah.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
which
That's
is
actually
our...
my question this week.
What is it?
Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
The answer is yes.
Just add a question mark at the end of her name,
Yes.
Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Yes.
Saturday Night Live.
All the time, yes.
100%.
True.
Always and forever. I just, Seinfeld reruns on all day. Whenever you're feeling down, if you go to the Comedy Channel, Comedy Central, whatever they call it now. Ha!
when you turn your TV on and you sit back down because you don't have a remote and you turn on Ha.
And you have Ha on, and you're like, oh, look, Seinfeld, that new show.
Yeah.
Why are you so old?
I don't know.
Well, I remembered Ha, so
I was good.
I do not remember that.
Are you guys making a joke? There was an actual station.
I have no idea what you're
Before
talking
Comedy Central, there was
Yeah.
the Comedy Channel. Before
Comedy
the Comedy Channel, there was Ha.
Yeah.
Ha?
This is your Bible of
I thought
television.
you guys were just being silly.
And wasn't there weren't at one point there was competing comedy networks?
Maybe
weren't there?
Ha and the Comedy
think
Channel
they
were the
competed,
competing channels.
and they became the Comedy Central.
They
merged.
centralized.
Yeah, all the comedy in one
The
place.
ha's and the he's.
Yeah.
Everything funny under one roof.
That's right. I think Ha was Canadian, maybe.
Aha!
And that's why you come here, ladies and gentlemen, because you're going to learn something every time.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I can't wait to talk about Santa Sangre when we get to the main attraction.
Oh my goodness.
Great pick, Louis.
Yeah.
Apologies if we've done this already. We don't know if we have
Andy
or not.
and I felt very certain we had never covered this movie before. And then... or that we had covered it. I'm like, no, we've totally seen that. We did that for a Hispanic. Yeah, it's already happened. And then we couldn't find evidence of that.
Yeah.
And then I watch it, and I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
So, but
you haven't
also,
seen it before?
maybe I have.
I thought
You
you
know?
had. Oh, okay.
I feel like you'd remember this movie.
Yeah.
Yes, right?
You know what, though? I had definitely seen it, and there were moments in it that I had kind of forgotten until they came and went, you know? But now I think the second viewing really hammered down everything into the foundation there. Like it's in there like with the birds and shit, as far as being in Jaws and all that, like those ones that you just like, oh, this happens, that happens, that happens.
You got birds and sharks in your brain.
Oh, the movie The
Constantly
Birds. I
fighting.
was like, what was with the birds and Jaws?
But yeah.
I was like, was there a thing with
sorry.
birds and
There
Jaws?
were some seagulls at the end when they were paddling away.
That's right.
I meant this movie has that memorable
now
quality on a
it's
second
like
viewing.
the birds, comma
Yes,
Jaws.
Yes, like
I got you.
Like those movies, how those movies are indelibly kind of burned in. This movie is in there now too, with all the greats.
It's birds level.
Really good.
I wonder what you pushed out to make room for Santa Sangre.
Hey, honey, what's my
grown-ups.
middle name?
Rose.
Okay, you didn't do that.
Is it Amy Ha Morris, right?
I lost grown-ups, but not grown-ups too.
Are you gonna be lost about Grown Ups too?
When I try to remember grown-ups too, it doesn't make any sense now.
I saw Grown Ups at the theater, by the way.
Oh, on purpose?
I guess.
It was so bad.
I like Adam Sandler.
I do too.
But it was bad.
For theater? You love him to pay for theater.
I think it depends on the movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this was back when the kids were younger.
Right.
This is when it came out, obviously.
Yeah.
And
Were you still a fan at Little Nicky?
I've never watched Little Nicky.
I like Little Nicky. I know a lot of people shit on it. I think it's pretty fucking funny.
I feel like it would be hard to watch that character for more than a few seconds at a time.
I feel like it's a movie that I have not revisited, and I would not like it now.
Yeah.
I know almost for a fact that I'd hate it now, but I'll tell you, in my mind palace, I'm laughing.
Yeah, I remember it coming out and I was like, this doesn't look for me. I'm one of those people. If something doesn't look like I'm gonna like it, I'm not like I'm gonna try and see. I'm like I'm probably never gonna watch that. And that was one of those. I did love Mr. Deeds, which
That's
came
time
after
management.
it.
Yeah. No, that's healthy.
There's too much content. You have to do that.
Yeah.
And
You should
Freddy's
do
like,
that.
but you should give it. The people say it's good. I'm like, I don't care.
I can be swayed though.
Tisn't for me. I can tell you.
Freddy watches anything.
This is true.
I will try
If
anything.
somebody recommends something to him, he's gonna watch it.
It's true. If I'll find time. I mean, not everything, but most things I will
Watches a
find a
lot.
way. I might not pay attention 100% of it. I might only watch 5 minutes of it, but I will try it. And I will watch something that's objectively worse and really enjoy it.
That's a great way to be too.
Yeah.
You have to convince me to watch something that I don't already want to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You got to work hard
Well,
at it.
he does that to me quite a bit, where he's just like, "Hey, you want to watch something?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he gives me like 5 choices.
Oh,
I'm like,
when it's my turn to pick something.
oh, it seems like it's awfully.
It is funny
almost
that when
your-
it's my
your
turn
turn
to
all
pick
the time.
something, I'm not allowed to pick something.
It seems like your turn
Isn't
all
that-
the time.
Think about that for
Anyway.
1 minute, the logic of this.
So oftentimes,
she makes
you know,
it
it's
sound
hard.
like I give her an approved viewing list for daily
Being
TV
silly.
usage.
You're
Like
being
I'm
silly,
some sort
I'm
of
being
48
silly.
hours spouse murderer.
You don't shut up.
This is like Dayline. And then he told her she could only watch Secret of the Ooze
Anyway,
or Popeye the Musical.
How many times
You just hit me.
did you watch Secret of the Ooze?
Did he make you dress as olive oil a lot?
what was I even just talking about? Oh, anyway, so oftentimes I'm being convinced to watch a movie I didn't want to watch.
Give me an
But,
example. A recent
Ant-Man
example.
Quantumania.
Did you like it though?
I did like it. It was actually really cool.
Okay, is this more often than not that he suggests a movie, you watch it, and you're like, ugh?
Well, you are good about turning it off if I'm like, this ain't.
Oh yeah,
doing it.
I'm like, if somebody's like, I don't like this, I just turn it off.
What was that movie you tried to play?
We started to watch Dark Star
Dark Star.
because I thought Amy might like it because she's been on a sci-fi kick, but I
this
could
is
tell
not-
it wasn't working for her.
That was not a Friday night. Let's have a
that's
couple
good, Amy.
edibles.
I like you, that you have your boundaries and said, I'm not gonna power through.
Yeah, no.
Well, no, she would have. I had to give her the out because Amy will suffer through something to please me, to be nice. But I don't like that. So I'm like, you got to tell me.
I'm doing it all right.
I do this with anybody I watch stuff with. I'm like, if you're not into this,
Stop pleasing
I will
Freddy.
shut it down. I've done it many times for people because I like some weird shit and I get it.
But I only want to watch trash now.
Like if I turn on Santa Sangre for like my sister, for example, and I'm like, hey, this movie is really beautiful. It's amazing. Here, sit down. Here's Santa Sangre. I could tell you, I'm probably going to be turning it off before the end of the first act for her.
It's not a movie I would have wanted to watch.
You would have never chose this on your own, right?
No. But
Quantumania, you mean?
Or no, now I'm talking about Santa Sangre, but both. Yeah,
Okay.
You know, no. But Santa Sangre was beautiful.
It was.
But we'll talk more about that later.
Quantumania was really surprising. I'm not like, right now I'm a little bit on, I like Marvel movies a lot. It's like a transportative experience for me. But I have this weird thing where I don't get excited about them anymore coming out.
Right.
I literally, every time I watch one lately, with rare exception, I'll turn something on that's Marvel and then I'm like, wow, this is really fun. This is really good. And then it'll end and then it'll be usually, but then we started Moon Knight pretty long after that. Not long after that, I mean. And I was prepared. I really was not super interested
was not into
in
it
Moon
either.
Knight. And then we started it and now I'm thinking about Moon Knight and wondering what the hell's going on
He's
with that.
thinking about Moon Knight,
See,
wondering
I like
what Moon
that you
Knight's
have
doing.
a healthy response to that stuff because it's not like I'm a big comic movie defender, but I'm tired of people just shitting on comic movies just for the sake of it.
It's like, shut up, Martin Scorsese.
I do get the backlash
Shut up.
because the more
Let people like what they like. Whoa. Whoa.
Well, here's the thing. It's funny
Kelly's
that you
being
know,
summoned.
the face Kelley made.
It was spam risk.
it's all these like big
I was afraid of the
directors
spam.
saying like, "Oh, we can't get movies made anymore." Martin Scorsese, you're having trouble getting a movie made.
Oh, it's not him. But also, you know,
There's a
it is
strike.
true to a certain extent that studios are not making like new stories, really. When they have tried and true stories like Marvel stuff, they don't have any reason to because they're just big businesses.
Which
So
is a business, yeah.
I get the argument that they are destroying movies. I understand that side of it, and it's true. However, it's
I did some like the snobbishness behind it.
yeah.
And I think the market will correct itself. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, if people get tired of it, then they'll stop going to it and watching it.
I think I do think like in general it's starting to happen. Not like these people that Andy's talking about, but I think even the fans are starting to get a little fatigued just because
Right.
there's so many. You have all the shows on Disney, then there's still movies.
Yeah.
And it's I think, and they all have a lot of people did not like Secret Invasion. And so I think there's fatigue starting in the fandom. So
Something that's
Yeah.
very intimidating about getting into comic books is all the like offshoots and variation shit that goes on. And now that's happening it's not just a movie every year. Now there's a series,
Yeah.
you know, or 2 movies in a year and then a series. And like, yeah.
Well, people need to go out and make when they do put stuff that's out, not comic book movies. There's a hypocrisy of people not supporting these movies. Like Last Voyage of Demeter, that was a bomb, and that was a
Yeah.
fantastic movie.
it
Yeah.
was.
And now they're probably not going to make movies like that anymore.
I'd love to see how it does on streaming though, because I do think since the pandemic, things have not righted back to, you know, like streaming is still going to be bigger, I feel like right now.
well, yeah, theater releases are probably not a good gauge
Yeah.
or as good a gauge as they used to be.
I mean, think about like what was the last thing you went to see in the movie theater that wasn't based on an existing intellectual property? What can you even think? Because that's a
Talk to
struggle
Me.
for me. Talk to Me would be the only one I can think of probably of recent that I didn't see at like a film festival or something. You know?
Well, you saw Oppenheimer. Is that based on a book or something?
Yeah, it's based on a book.
Oh, okay. Fuck if I knew.
Yeah. So it's just kind of interesting.
Talk to Me, which I think did respectably, and they're making
Yeah.
a sequel
So that's people do want original stories. I think
in horror.
In horror,
Megan.
they do. But then again, you can look at Talk to Me and be like, it is a variation of a kind of an existing
Well-
tropey story. It's all
Well,
the
but
beats
it's
are there.
not a known property.
Right.
I mean, just for
Right.
the sake of this discussion,
Yeah.
I would say that makes it count. Man, I haven't really seen very many new movies.
Yeah, same.
Like
Just saw the Goonies, and that was
Yeah,
not
we-
based
we
on.
just
it.
go to
any
Flashback
idea.
Cinema now.
that's old. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all I do is go to old movies.
And you guys just saw Fellowship of the Ring, which was based on existing.
Yes,
IP.
and then on mine and Elise's wedding anniversary next weekend will be the Two Towers.
So cute.
Very excited.
Happy
You
early
guys are
anniversary.
those 2
Thank you.
towers.
Yeah, it's the union of the 2 towers.
Yeah, which one of us is Isengard and which one of us is Minus Morgul?
You know what?
You're minus Murger.
You're giving me energy right now. I would have said you look like a.
I would definitely rather be Sauron than Saruman. Anyway.
I'd rather date a girl in Eaton than eat a girl in Dayton.
Did we step off of our soapboxes now? Can we step down?
Now that we're done with film.
We play D&D again.
Yeah. You said it like you're confessing.
I know.
Like you're a serial killer and you just got home to your abusive mom that made you this way. And you sit down on the end of the bed and you're like rumpled and there's like some blood on you and you're like, play D&D again.
And she's like, I don't like that. I don't like that devil game.
You know what, though?
What would your father think if he were alive?
Freddy's hands are bathed in our character's blood.
So far.
You are fucking us up. We're all like unconscious except for you, Kelley.
And I only have one hit point.
Yeah.
What was the question that I asked before we started playing when you were making characters? I'm trying to remember how I phrased it. Was like,
you said make sure you might want to build backup characters.
I said depending on how you want to play. That was what I said. Depending on how
I
you
didn't
want to play.
remember saying I want to
like,
play it to the death every time.
I was like, do you want me to? I said if you don't want me to pull punches, which means I just follow the rules.
I play.
I know.
I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah, it was pretty. I didn't. It's a bummer for me too. You think this hurts me more than it hurts you?
Oh my god. He's such a liar.
Look what you made me do.
They got they took the party into. Now, hopefully, I'm recollecting this.
Well, we were
correctly.
already in that house.
They went into this house because these little ghosts told them that there was a monster in the house, and Kelley,
which is exactly what you do. But we also went in to escape that fog. We had to get inside.
you had to get in there.
We were being poisoned.
Some of you probably recognize these story elements because I didn't write this. This is from a published adventure. But like they get in, and Kelley's little halfling goes up this dumbwaiter, and they end up fighting a big Scooby-Doo set of armor.
Mm-hmm. A really badass.
It's tougher than it looks.
Shit up.
Although it's probably not. It's probably not even that big. It's not really that big of a monster, but it is beating the shit out of us.
They're first level characters.
It must have crazy modifiers.
I could not roll anything higher than a 6.
I realized that on the way out because at first I was like, there's something wonky. How's everybody over there rolling 22s and 24s? But I remember they must have all kinds of modifiers.
They had like a +4 to attack, so it also got kind of lucky sometimes.
It's frustrating. It reminds me of that scene in Scary Movie 2 where Sydney's being chased by the bones, the skeletons. And then Brenda's like, this is bones. Would you run from so-and-so?
She's like Callista Flockhart, I think.
And this is the same way I'm approaching the suit of armors. It's just armor.
Right.
I don't understand how it can hurt us so bad.
It's powerful.
I like Kelley's halfling is like, well, don't split the party. And then they were like,
It was
okay,
an accident.
we're going to flee this way and that way. They fled in 2 different directions.
3 different directions.
3 different directions, yeah. Into 3 different rooms.
Well, we were hoping we could meet up somewhere.
I like it. I mean, from the story, it's exciting.
Because like it feels like genuine because we're acting on impulse.
Yeah.
We were forced to split really because if we kept the party completely together and even if we unite, it would have just killed us all right there.
Amy was like,
It might have.
Amy was like, Andy, follow me. I was like, no, I'm going here.
Yeah. He was like, fuck you, bitch.
You might have been okay if there wasn't a ghost. There was a specter in the room you
And
went
you
in.
might have been okay.
In fact, not to be too in game, but it feels like we're just supposed to escape this and not fight it at all. So
I wonder.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't say that.
Heard
I can
it
tell you
somewhere to another place. But sometimes there's monsters that the party's not gonna get past. You're supposed to get somewhere else.
Yeah, and I'm wondering. Well, here's this one. I can tell you, it doesn't.
No spoilers.
It's pretty standard, like a dungeon crawl thing. It's not leading you by the nose or anything because it's like it's literally just a house.
Yeah, we're exploring.
So, but there is like this element of
Our sexualities.
Once we got into that, I didn't expect that. I thought I kind of expected you guys to just kind of trounce through this part of it, but it reminds me of what like the unpredictability of this game, which is kind of part of the fun too.
We had opportunities to trounce through it, but our rolls were just so bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad luck.
It was like 2s and 4s and 6s, and
It was really bad rolls.
Yeah.
I was seriously rolling 2s. Like I rolled like 3 or 4 2s. I am gonna bring my dice this time.
Yeah, we need physical, like
for me,
good vibes dice.
I'm gonna roll
my
dice and see what it does.
4
You can
magical
compare
creatures can't beat 1 suit of armor. That's sad.
Only for to hit rolls though. I'm not going to do it for like damage or anything, but but my attack rolls, I'm going to use my own D20.
I'm in love with the D&D Beyond, the character sheet functionality thing.
It's beautiful.
It is so easy.
It is beautiful. Oh my God.
But again, like if you're superstitious.
I am though. I fuck this app.
You can change your dice in there into different
Joe
dice
Burrow cut his hair. I'm changing my dice up.
so that you know. You can change them. And I think they know that people get superstitious about dice. So you can change your dice. There's D&D. Some people were
D&D
asking
corner.
about our D&D game, so I thought maybe you'd get a little taste of what we did.
There you go.
We reconvene in a couple of weeks,
A couple weeks, yeah.
And then just to wrap it up, Sports Corner is TBD because the
TBD.
boys are on an MNF tonight.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of abbreviations you just spat out.
You know, it's the NFL unboxed.
WTF.
BRB.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for Straight-to-Video Russian Roulette.
Hi, Andy.
Hi. It was mine again. Good Lord, I had a busy week.
Sorry.
Well, I had to watch 2 movies and the Origins. Well, it's my own fault because I was tend to watch on the day of
Yeah.
because I want to be fresh in my mind. But then poor planning comes into play, and I was rushing. So I did watch the movie all the way through though without a phone. So
Well done.
good for me.
So it must have been okay then?
No, not really. I was like, I'm trying to dedicate myself like to the thing of watching movies without distractions, even though I'm not really invested.
Yeah.
Because I just want to give it the chance, a full chance now. But this is elevator game. It's kind of like Bloody Mary, like Blackbeard, those games where you summon a ghost or something. But this was a little too complicated for its own good. I guess it's actually a real thing.
Like the description of it said it was,
Yeah.
but I've never heard of such a thing.
The elevator game is a real thing.
What is
I think
it?
so. You're supposed to go in an elevator and go to certain floors in a certain order, and then some ghost lady is supposed to appear behind you and kill you, or something like that. It was things aren't processing in my mind as well. So it's maybe me, but also the rules of this game are a little too complicated for its own good.
It like is beyond just the simple say the words or go to the
something
floors.
Like to make a movie about this, it needs to be very straightforward of what we need to do. It can't be too difficult. You go into a mirror and say Blayne Mary, Blayne Mary, Blayne Mary, or Candyman. Bam, you're done with this little game.
And did
Are
they
there if-then statements?
Yeah.
I was just making a
But for this one, you just have to go through all like 5 different floors, and you're just watching people go up and down.
They were patting it.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
watching people like looking at the little buttons on the top, like ding,
Yeah.
and then
So they had a
ding,
premise, but they didn't have a story.
and then it's like ding, the door opens. They press the button again.
Yeah.
They go up and down. Ding, door opens. It's just the game itself. To me, is not the best game to make a movie out of.
Well, was there any suspense whatsoever in the in-between moments?
Not really.
Because that's key, man. If you can't do that, make
Well,
that work.
the premise
you're in
is
trouble.
that it's like a YouTube channel, and these young people, they do different challenges like this, like play curse games, like Blayne Mary in this game, and that's their whole.
in your D&D game from last night.
We did that, remember?
Yes. We should record it and put it on YouTube. See what happens.
No, do you remember when we did that years ago? We did.
No, we did
We did the Bloody
we did
Mary,
2
yeah.
sleepovers.
Yeah.
We did.
I wasn't at
Liza
the first
Feather,
one, but
That was
I was at the second
fun.
one.
Yeah.
We should do it again.
and we did slumber party games, which is basically.
But we played simple ones that.
Yes.
But this one, even they brought it up on their show. Like, is this going to make good content? Us getting an elevator and just going up and down. That's not good content.
And you're like, oh no.
Yes.
We did it with an audio podcast. We were like, we're going to go up and down in an elevator and you can listen along.
Yeah. When I was in the band, we went and played a festival in Oklahoma, and we stayed at a DoubleTree, and we just rode up and down the elevator partying with people, and people would get on and hang out and talk, and we'd ride up and down and drink, and then they'd get off, new people would get on. We just stayed on and just rode up and down.
Was it because there were so many people for the festival that you could just do that?
To be fair, I felt bad for the hotel because, and it wasn't because of us, but the floor of the elevator was just beer cans.
Oh, shit.
And just
That's like old horror hound.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
It's a very old horror hound. Remember, you used to find drunk guy.
Probably a lot of
and he'd
same
just stay on
people.
the elevator because he was too drunk to get off the floor.
It was a little bit like that, except we were it was like we were trying to meet people.
Yeah.
Right.
It was like very social. Everyone was doing it. I don't know how everyone knew to just do it.
That's fun.
If you give people a chance, 1 in 10 will murder you, but then there's those other 9 that are lovely.
9 out of 10 dentists.
That's right. 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
You gotta go 4 out of 5. That's too many dentists to ask.
That's a lot of dentists.
So the YouTube thing.
Yeah.
They were very accurate in how they did the show. And that was a strike against it because I find those shows very annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would not be watching a show like that.
It's like the YouTube voice and the TikTok voice, you know. Hey guys, we're doing the challenge this week.
Oh boy.
That type of stuff. It's it's just not for me, that type of media.
And
Yeah.
he says,
It just made me-
my brain is too old for this.
Watching this movie made me feel old because it's like the new media type stuff. And I'm not a YouTube person or a TikTok person.
I do the YouTubes and the TikToks, but I don't bring energy to it.
Yeah.
But you do pluralize them for no reason.
I play music,
TikToks.
but I will be damned if I'm going to roll in there with, hey guys.
Like and subscribe, smash that like button.
I only do old person stuff on YouTube.
Roll in there.
You look up how to
do
is
things.
this
I
too
like
on your
to
house?
Things. I might watch an old epic rap battle.
Oh yeah.
But things that my children are like, this is old stuff, and I'm like, this is when people like were creative. Remember that?
You're like, look at this. It's the infinite showdown of ultimate something or other.
It's the ultimate showdown.
Ultimate showdown.
Of Ultimate
Infinite
Destiny.
Ultimate Destiny. Thank
The
you.
Infinite wasn't even in there.
Huh.
Yeah, so YouTube.
So I just found the characters annoying, and that's maybe the point of it. But it just made me feel old. So I think maybe a younger person would have liked this better, but it was just not for me per se. And what else was I going to say about this?
You're going to say smash that like button, like and subscribe.
There were some actually good gore moments, and I liked how it felt cozy in a certain way because it's like those 2000s, late 90s, 2000 movies with like The Ring and like The Grudging and
the grudgeoning.
and like those ghost movies.
She hate me.
Yeah.
Like that trend back then. So it felt like nostalgic,
Right.
but it was more nostalgia than the actual movie, you know?
Yeah.
Performances were uneven. There was one guy who was like real bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, you don't have to name names.
But yeah, like if you watch it, then
You'll know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That it was just too long. The story was too small for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like there was a story.
No, not really. It was just, hey, like we got this ghost is following us. We got to figure out what happened. And the reveal of what the ghost woman is was kind of interesting and creepy.
Yeah.
But everything around it was just forgettable.
You ever meet a kid who can tell a story? Like you meet kids who they think telling a story is they're like, and then a wolf jumped out from behind the tree.
Yep.
Ah, yeah. And then you meet a kid who just naturally knows that they're like, but it's not about that. And they add all this other shit. And before you know it, like John's kids are like that.
Yeah.
And they would had all these, I was like, holy cow. I'm like, you guys are telling like a story. You got like a character. I know what your character's like. And they're little kids. And I think some people just never learn that you got to have the other part to make shit worthwhile, man. You're missing a lot just to hang it on hit a button and die.
I mean, this movie wasn't outright bad or anything. It was just kind of there, but it wasn't good enough for me to recommend.
Yeah.
I get you. It sounds like it did the worst thing it could do.
I mean,
Not be entertaining.
I wasn't necessarily bored either. Like, I wanted to know what the mystery was and how they're figuring it out, but it was just... meh.
Was there a conclusion that explains why the elevator
Not
did this?
really.
Okay.
I mean, it was just...
the elevator.
There's not really any good reasons why these ghosts are just killing people.
You know how much energy it must take a ghost to kill someone? Like, ghosts don't really kill people.
Yeah.
But except in the movies.
Do you know what you sound like right now?
What?
You sound like the people on Something Bit Me.
Mm-hmm.
When they're like, this snake, it's not like it
Did you
to
even tell
bite
him
humans.
You watched it?
So, yeah,
Yes.
we watched the first episode.
So great. It gets you, like,
Listener.
savor it.
Yeah.
Savor it.
It's on this Disney Plus, Nat Geo, Something Bit Me.
And what's beautiful, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but some of these episodes are going to start and you're going to think, oh, I know what bit them.
Yeah.
And then it's going to go somewhere else that you didn't know.
Yeah.
You're going to learn about some things you probably don't know a lot about. I didn't.
When they're gonna have Mike Tyson there, like in a Talking Head interview.
You have to be careful when you're swimming in the ocean because you never know where he's going to be.
Yeah.
And
Evander Holyfield's
he can travel at great speeds from the depths. So, but he only usually eats seals.
That's good to
Mike
know.
Tyson
Mike Tyson, yeah,
in Evander Holyfield's ear.
yeah.
Something bit me.
All right, well,
The heavyweight champion of the world.
Andy says no thank you to Elevator Game.
All
He
right.
says door close.
That's right.
As Elevator Game is running up to the elevator doors. They're like,
It
wait,
would
hold
be-
it.
it would
He's like,
actually
close,
be
close, close, close,
Ding
close.
ding because it's going down.
Because it's going down.
I'm jealous Andy's peeing right now.
That's great. The movie for next
He
week
really wants to pee.
I can't wait
It's
to
his
see.
dream.
is called No One Will Save You.
Oh,
It's a Hulu original. In this captivating sci-fi psychological thriller,
it's a lot of descriptives.
I know, a young woman who's been alienated from her community finds herself in an action-packed face-off with a host of extraterrestrial beings who threaten her future while forcing her to deal with her past. That sounds nice.
Sounds adventure-y.
Sounds adventure-y. So yeah, No One Will Save You.
No one will save you. All right, here goes the wheel.
No one will save you.
Of roulette. The roulette wheel.
Oh, looks like it's me.
It's yours.
Ding dong.
All right, babe.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you.
Freddie will be reviewing that next time.
Yeah, I'm jazzed.
Are you vamping a little here?
Well, I got to pee, so
Okay, I
you
got
know.
it.
You know what I'm saying?
Cut. Oh.
Turn out lights, it's the main attraction.
You like how I tore that down? That's how bad I got to pee.
Go pee! I
but-
got this.
Yeah, Amy's got this.
Jesus Christ. All right, Santa
You're not doing
Sangre.
yourself any favors by telling us how much you need to pee.
I mean, dude, just go pee already. It's fine.
It's right there.
You're making it worse, Freddie.
Wait, Vay. It's not like we're,
He doesn't trust us, Amy.
some corporate podcast
We're here.
where you don't pee on air. No, we're punk fucking rock.
That's right. And
And
you
he's
can say
peeing.
that. That's how punk rock we are. We can say
Yeah.
it, and it does still mean it.
It means it.
That's how fuck off we are. I'll tell anybody right to their face.
He's like that lady that peed in that guy's mouth.
Yes.
That concert last year.
Yeah, that was
Except
great.
he's doing it in the toilet.
Was that a Nita? Who was that?
I don't remember.
It was a big stream, though. I remember
Would have been
that.
Anita.
I was like, good for you, all around.
Anita. I don't know how you say it.
Santa Sangre.
Santa Sangre.
She needs a toilet. That's what she needs.
Oh my! So when did this come out?
89, I think.
Wow,
I
really?
think 89 or I think that's what it said.
Alejandro
Jodorowsky.
Jodorowsky. I don't know how I'm doing on that pronunciation.
Pretty good, I think.
Alejandro Jodorowsky?
There you go.
He's still alive. He's 94 fucking years old.
That's insane.
Yeah.
My God.
I didn't know he was still alive. I'm glad to hear that. That makes me happy. In my head, for some reason, there was a story where he had died.
His son,
His oldest son,
Sons.
right?
that played Fennec,
Oh, no.
Both of his sons.
has passed away.
Oh, I like that guy a lot.
The
Yeah.
old one or the young one?
The older one.
Oh.
Oh,
Bummer.
he did? I thought I knew he lost a son shortly after they made this too, the one who played the pimp died after the movie was made.
Well, that's really awful.
He had 4 sons and all 4 of them were in the movie. Both of the Phoenix
Right.
and the pimp.
They all look alike.
And the kid, the one making out with the nurse who drops the group home kids off at the movie theater.
Yeah.
That's the 4th son.
Okay. When it transitions from, older Phoenix, younger Phoenix, I was like, wow, that's a good cast. Man,
They look so much alike.
So much. And then I looked it up. I'm like, doy. But yeah.
Well, remember there was a point where I was like, is he casting actors that look alike to confuse you on purpose? Like, and then I was, oh, those are all his kids.
There are things like that in this movie. Alise was looking up a lot of stuff while we watched it. Like at first we were like, was this, because sometimes if you're it was dubbed, but if you're watching the mouths, it looks off. That was deliberate. Like it was deliberately imperfectly dubbed in English to be confusing.
Huh.
I don't know about to be confusing, but that was on purpose.
That's interesting. I thought they filmed it in English, but they did.
They filmed it in English, but
and
also
then did ADR on top.
And
of
they
the
did
English.
ADR on top.
Ah, yeah.
To make it weird.
We call this like what do we call this? Like the artsy fucking psycho. Like what is
It's like surreal.
It's like a
the
giallo.
It's like
surreal
avant-garde.
Little
Bates
everything.
Motel?
It's a very artsy giallo psycho.
It's a simple story, but it's the way that he tells it.
Did you hear
that makes it so well?
The weird story that Jodorowsky tells about, because the screenwriter is like
Claudio
Argento,
yeah.
who you're talking about, like this connects to all the Spanish, like the
this was a
Italian.
Mexican-Italian
Yeah.
co-production.
and you'll find names in roles that are families that work on all the Italian horror movies we've covered over the years, and the
Dean
Spanish.
Stockwell's
brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
who looked a little like Chris Farley in this.
They said that was close to his actual personality on the set, that he was kind of a mean drunk.
Oh.
Is what I was doing some reading on this, but like what was I saying before? Blah 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 blah. Blah. Go back. Andy said something that made me think of this, and now I'm drawing a blank. Oh, the writing. Claudio Argento like wrote it, and the story was crazy. I heard like Jodorowsky said, "What was the day that you wrote this? When did you get the idea?" And he's like, "It was this time. It was this time of night." And he goes, "Well, the story fairy. I was asleep, and the story fairy was delivering that to me, and it was passed on to you because I was asleep. So it's my story." And that's how, like, this is like the way this very spiritual, like artsy, like way of looking at it, where he's like, so we work on this together to make this happen. And that's why, like, I think it has all those things where it feels like the first part of the movie is this kind of classic cinema. It feels like old Hollywood, and then it's like Italian, like giallo stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very it really does become like a classic, killer with a gimmick kind of thing. Very Two Sisters.
Yeah.
Or Sisters, not Two Sisters. That's a different movie. Sisters, yes. But the Martin Luther.
Like we were talking before the show, this movie reminded us of other movies.
Yeah.
But it's just, like I said, it's the way he tells it that makes it so good.
Well, it's also on purpose too. Like it's like a pastiche. It reminds me, honestly, Pee-wee's Big Adventure does a lot of the same stuff. The shifting of tone. Like I think Tim Burton and him are actually kind of, obviously Tim Burton's way more commercial, had a lot of success there. But I think if you go back and watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure, it's very much that same thing where he's like, I loved these movies as a kid, so first part of my movie is this.
Yeah.
I love these kind of movies. I'm going to switch gears, but he does it. And Amy and I were talking about this, like there's no seams. Like a lot of times movies try to do this to be cool now, the switch up styles, but there's always a hard break between like the genre. There'll be an indicator where it's like a smash cut, like thematically.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think of an example, but I'm struggling. But like they'll switch to black and white. You do something really dramatic. But like he does that thing almost like where Disney does that crossfade when you move out of Adventureland and you go into like Frontierland, that the music goes down in one and comes up in the other.
Yeah, the different sections are seamless.
And
I know
feel
what
like
you mean.
You wandered into a different world each time.
You do. That's exactly right. And now see, that I had something to say.
We're all slipping.
That went with that.
That story fairy is just flying around.
You got it. It's coming.
Oh, and I think there was probably a lot of
strain?
symbolism.
Yeah.
That I don't understand.
Yeah.
But I feel like there was a lot more going on definitely for Jodorowsky. Maybe, I don't know about Claudio Argento, but I feel like he put a lot of symbolism and more
You're Catholic
underneath.
Yeah. He also, I think, and I like this about Jodorowsky, and it's encouraging. Like if you're artistic and you do this, like where he's like, I just put stuff in there. He goes, sometimes I know what it means, and then there's things where an opportunity comes up, and I can't deny it, and it's something that has to be in the movie. And it was the guy who pulls his ear off, was the guy in this, and he's like, a guy knew a guy who said he could pull his ear off. And he's like, I have to have this in my movie. I don't know why, but and then people have found meaning in it.
Right.
Well, I like that because this movie had such like a dreamlike quality.
Oh yeah.
So like all these just random things. That's what happens in dreams. It's things that just pop up for no reason and you can't explain them, but they're just cool.
Very dreamlike. That is a very good description and a very good capture of what it is to be dreaming.
Normally that would piss me off because I feel like there's a lot of style here and I was struggling for substance. But the style overwhelms you. And honestly, by the time it comes to the end with the killer with the gimmick, portion of it, then I was a little bit more in and I could follow it through a little bit more.
To me, the style is the substance. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's they're both there. Yeah, but they're even said that
It's fucking gorgeous and it's everybody is so fun to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Especially the tattooed lady.
Tattooed lady.
Awesome.
The performances too are great. Concha, the actress that played Concha, just you're just like.
Well, the turn she takes, like in the beginning, and I even said this to Amy, and like I said, I'd seen this before, but I guess it didn't hit me the same way the first time. We're watching it, in the first act, she runs that church, which for some reason I was completely convinced of her sincerity as that person, and as I thought about it and read about it, she was conning those people.
I told you I thought she was a con.
And I felt
by the end, I was like, I think that was a hoax that she perpetuated because she was trying to get out of the fucking circus and out from under
Orgo. I did not clock that. I'm glad you told me that.
But she sells it so well. That's why you never know which way she's going.
Well, because she's crazy. I mean,
I thought she became a different character.
She's out of her mind a little bit.
Yes.
And so... like, to me, what's funny about that is I just accepted that she was both a member of this circus and then also this fanatical cult leader, and that she just went home to the circus at night or when she wasn't at church.
That's what I thought too originally. Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes even more like grounded sense than because I just accepted whatever was happening as this is one of those. I'm just going to accept everything and try to follow along. But she was just really riveting to watch.
Oh yeah,
and
there's some clues there too, like those corrugated walls. Like you can tell it's a lean-to that they built and turned into although the front is beautiful.
Yeah, with
the sign, Santa. What a reveal too, and staging of having all the parishioners come out and play the music when they're about to bulldoze the place.
Yeah,
that was it was actually really beautiful.
I said immediately I was like, man, this has such a strong. At the time, I said visual style because it was right after it started. I was like, this has got like an amazing, strong visual style that is just like it doesn't even matter almost what's going on. But
that's what happened to me, and that's a strong ass movie that can overcome that for me.
It's the It's not just the visual. It's like the idea of these people so dedicated to what they believe that they're willing to die for it.
Did you see how many of them were blind? Most of the people in that crowd playing and her parishioners were blind.
I did not know.
So they couldn't see the pool of blood.
Of paint. That's actual paint.
It's just paint in the water.
Remember, I was like, I said, this doesn't, I know Jodorowsky, I think he's from Chile, and and I couldn't place, at first I said, this looks like Mexico, and I couldn't figure out, why would they have gone to film this in Mexico? They did that, apparently, they were one of the few places that were, they were happy to have them, so that's why they filmed there and they let them do whatever they wanted. But they also had all the locals were really into it, all those drag queens were there for a drag queen competition.
Oh, nice!
And that scene, and a lot of those are just people that lived in that town.
There were some damn good ones.
There's so many good faces. It felt real.
Yeah.
Even though it's very dreamy.
Yeah.
It felt grounded at the same time because use so many local actors and so many just local flavor.
And he chose people that look like Charles Adams drew them. Some of them, you know, like
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, like just not
Who's Charles Adams?
the Adams family. Like not typical proportions. Like people who are not your everyday people.
But they are everyday people.
Yeah, but they are. I love that. Like that's why I love Todd Browning's Freaks.
I was getting that vibe.
Yeah, definitely. Like and stuff like bring all people. Like I love movies that look like this are so much more interesting to look at.
It feels like an experience. Like after finishing that, I mean, there's a lot of movies that I like, but it wasn't like. And this is just to show you, like after I finish a Godzilla movie, which I obviously love, like it's like that was cool, man. But like this is one of those like you got to sit with it a little bit, and it was just such an experience.
What's cool too, like because all that symbolism stuff that you're talking about is there, like the idea of him being a little boy in the beginning, and the end of his childhood is the elephant dying. Yeah, which I put on the Discord. There's a music video which it's just super strange, but it's Eddie Murphy and Michael Jackson, and I had never heard this song before. It opens with the quote, "The elephant has died." And I started thinking about why they would have put that in this music video. And I was like, oh my God, like Michael Jackson is just like Phoenix. Sorry.
They call him Phoenix, I guess, when he's like performing.
Right. It doesn't really matter.
Losing his childhood and it driving him mad.
Childhood. He was an entertainer, like who lost his childhood and went mad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, holy fuck! This stupid music video just hit me like a ton of bricks. You know, thinking about him relating to this character immediately, and then to think of the source of the character is one of the writers. I can't remember which one was in a hospital with a convicted serial killer who became rehabilitated, but had killed 17 women.
How you gonna rehabilitate?
I know. But he told the guy,
how do you
the
know
writer,
he did? Okay.
He says, I want to kill you, but I won't because I love you. And that inspired the character. That's where the seed of it started, of the character being not wanting to be a killer, but is being controlled by something.
Compelled by his mania. And actually, this is one of the things, and Roger Ebert kind of mentioned this. We kind of read Alise did, and then gave it to me. I don't want to ever take credit for that. But
for reading.
What I loved, and then it just, in that review, he kind of mentioned it, is I like the way that at the end, I was fully I'll tell you what I honestly thought was going to happen was he was going to cut his own hands off because it was a giallo. And I was like, what's going to happen is he's going to have to run against like a razor in a wall and it be like this very gory, he's going to have to cut his arms off.
Right.
And then when that didn't kind of happen, then I was like, well, he's definitely not going to live. Like we're going to finish this with a shot of his face as the camera kind of closes in on his dead eyes staring face, because a lot of times that's also where you end up. Mm-hmm. I love that he went out and surrendered to the cops with
Alma.
With Alma. That was like a really weirdly positive and
it was
such a much stronger ending than I was expecting.
It was like it was like a less sad, on the end of Psycho, he's still sick and that's really sad. This is kind of like you get to see the alternate of what if Norman Bates really did get better at the end of Psycho. You're seeing the beginning of him healing, and then beginning when they have him like he's living like an eagle.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really weird on that perch in the hospital. But he seems to like be responding maybe to being treated there a little bit. But he sees the tattooed woman when they're out on the town.
Yeah.
And
that's your trigger.
It triggers him to just start killing, and he doesn't want to kill, so he ends up with the strong woman who is the wrestler. That sequence is great too when he meets her. And her just standing in the middle of the ring at that wrestling match with that giant costume on.
Yeah,
and everything.
That's crazy.
So great. But that whole thing of him wanting a woman to replace his mom, but they need to be powerful enough to restrain him or break his arms. And that this whole time I couldn't remember. This time through, I had forgotten that the mom was definitely, and this is spoiler territory.
Well,
I'm sure you know that. We spoil our main attractions every episode. But the mom had been, dead this whole time, and he had been performing with that dummy
Yep.
as Concha and her
Fucking
magic
dummy,
hands.
man. It was so
And for the
creepy.
longest time, I was actually convinced that his mom was still alive.
I was too.
because like he's
I knew.
like unreliable narrator. So and like there's so many weird like that scene with the Invisible Man and he has all the lab equipment.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, this is not real.
That was
But then
one of the
at the same
great
time,
things about it.
I was
when
like,
it's
maybe
just him
it
by
is.
himself, it's not real.
Yeah, but
When other people come in, it's real.
Not always, because sometimes they're the clowns or
But they're not there.
Alma was
That's
the
what I'm
only
saying.
real one. Yeah, I think, and the tattoo
but
lady.
everything
Yeah.
around
Tattoo
him
Lady
is
was
just so like surreal and dreamlike. So I didn't know which way the story was going to go.
That's what I think you were saying about it being seamless, because you would come in and out and you almost never really knew
Right.
at first until you put it all
Yeah.
at the end. You put it all together, and I guessed a little bit right before the reveal of the puppet show, but I said, hold on, because I kept trying to guess and try and figure out where this was going, and I knew, like, I was like, she's probably dead. Like, I was like, she's not real. I was like, but wait, they had a show together. I was like, people, like, he performed.
I did wonder
Yeah,
about that.
At that point, I was like, wait a minute, he just got out of this asylum, and all of a sudden he's in the show. But the way they handled it was just so, like you said, seamless.
Well, it's
Yeah.
because Aladdin worked
Yeah.
there too. Like, so he ran into he already
But
knew
like,
Aladdin,
and the thing
right?
also, like nobody aged either.
Yeah.
So that should have been another clue.
Well, he wasn't
that-
real
Aladdin.
at the end.
Oh yeah, he disappeared too.
No,
But
like,
that doesn't. I think he was alive. I think
He
when he
ran
ran
into
into him
him,
on the
but it was
street,
real.
I do
But
think
that-
that was
but-
real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that should be another clue that nobody's aged at all.
Right.
Well,
that-
I had like it felt that moment where you know that, like you're saying, like she wasn't really, like all those people weren't real. His mom wasn't really there. It felt almost like a Sixth Sense thing where I actually saw in my mind him dancing with that doll, and it got creepier. The movie got a little creepier because I'm like, all this time that woman, that girl that's flirting with him and says, "Your arms and me, we could make a great act."
Yeah,
She was seeing him performing with something that wasn't alive,
with a puppet. Yeah,
with a puppet that whole time, and thinks that, oh, you'd be even better with a live partner kind of thing is probably
Right.
what she's thinking, you know? And you're just like, oh my God, this is fucking bonkers and brilliant.
really brilliant.
I did, man, when all the white painted women
Oh, that was
rose
creepy.
from their graves.
That was awesome.
And like, that's a lot of ladies.
Why'd you
Mhm.
kill us? Yeah.
Like a lot of them.
That was such also a really great reveal.
Yeah.
That there were more people than you saw, and that was a really great. This is like the best like this. If you want me to enjoy
I wouldn't call
Italian
this a giallo
cinema,
before somebody jumps down your throat.
well,
It has giallo elements. That
it definitely does.
I'll
I
tell
would
you
argue
what,
it
that
does
part
too.
where he kills a tattoo lady, that is pure giallo right
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell
Yeah.
everyone listening, and you can tell Aaron, and you can tell Nate, and you can tell whoever
You
else.
can tell your mama.
I'm Kelly.
And this is a giallo
I
film.
know what giallo is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into these. I know you know. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not being snarky with you. I'm not gonna get into these minutia.
Hey, if you know, you know.
and so
What you're saying.
yeah, I'm fucking. I'm kind of cutting through the bullshit by saying this is the best giallo movie for me.
Isn't it enough that it has all the hallmarks of a giallo? I
Yeah.
think the only thing that makes it not technically a giallo is it wasn't filmed in Italy.
I mean, you can't call it bourbon then.
And it's
Right.
amazing. Also,
Make it in Kentucky.
Nope, that's right.
I'm just saying. So no, it's not really a giallo, but it's but it is. It is, but it isn't. So I'm just gonna call it that. Again, even I'm not even because it's not. I don't like giallo. I don't like giallo movies.
Stop trying to defend yourself.
The whole point.
Kelly, you're absolutely. I'm saying you're absolutely right.
The
But
whole
I'm
point-
telling you that I'm telling the listener, don't bother being like technically and
Yeah.
do the fucking put your glasses.
Don't
up
be
your nose
sending
shit.
that email.
I guess
You're
the-
arguing against these hypothetical questions that people are putting out to you.
I guess, and my point really was too, like, is that I don't like those movies. So if you want me to like it, you're gonna have to make one that isn't one. Because
You ever had Krispy Kremes?
Are they crispy?
Or the Krispy? Did you see that lady? That was funny.
but anyway, it's such and just talking about it too, like now I want to watch it again. Just the way it reveals things to you, and then again, like when it all comes together, it's such because even it is surreal, but in that way, it's dead straight. Like when everything comes together for you and you realize that you're experiencing someone's mind, then it is almost just a dead straight movie without even being surreal because it is.
The whole movie is not just like the movie itself is subjective. Like none of it is objective really.
Oh, it's so good.
It's great. The lady who the death of the elephant, is supposed to be the death of childhood, blah, blah, right?
Yeah.
He meets that lady who is like the street side apothecary when he's doing the Invisible Man bit.
Yeah.
Because now at this point, I guess he just wants to disappear, like because his mother is so domineering in his mind. Mm-hmm. But like
very childlike too.
Yeah.
Does such a great job of creating an adult child, like very like precise.
Well, the whole time, even though he was doing these horrific things, I still felt for him.
Oh yeah, that's the beauty of it. Like you really,
and it makes you challenge yourself because when they reveal at the end, when all these ladies are coming out the grave,
then I was like,
all right,
wait
a minute, do I still?
You're
feel
not
for
allowed
you?
to try to rehabilitate this character. Like, oh, my bad. No, like he still killed like 20 women.
Well, this movie's good for that.
I do feel
twice.
bad for him because I think he was fucked up by his life.
Because they do that with the dancing tattooed woman too, where she's kind of sympathetic in the first act.
No,
but then when
she's not in the first act at all.
But then it's the reveal where she's
kind of. At least she's not like you don't see her as necessarily a straight up villain. I think at that point,
I do.
Really,
I do when she was like threatening to beat her Alma for not practicing. I knew that she was.
She was pretty nasty.
Yeah.
You're right.
She definitely was a bad person.
She got way worse. I think.
Yeah,
when
agreed.
They brought her
and then
back.
the review where like, oh god, that was so hard to watch.
Yeah.
That
like,
review where she says like she's
deaf
deaf and
mute.
mute, that you can do whatever, nobody can hear.
Yeah.
But then you think about that's not the first time.
That's not the first time.
that
Right.
She's done that to Alma.
Although it seems like it because she seemed very surprised.
I think I like to think she got away the first time.
Yeah.
I just because from the fantasy side of it, like I understand that what you're saying, Andy. If they've been out there on the
for
streets,
me, it's
that
the
long.
way that she said like you can do whatever, and nobody can hear you. So like it makes me believe that somebody's done that too before.
But Alma seemed definitely her spirit seemed unbroken.
Yeah.
At least whatever version of her we were getting, whether that was a fantasy version of her or not, like she was such a strong character. I love the variations on her costume.
Oh yeah.
To like the different headdresses. But the apothecary lady who started hitting on him, wanting dates.
Yeah.
By the way, he
with the
reminds
hat.
Do you remind you of Bronson Pinchot?
Do I remember Bronson Pinchot?
No, I said, does he remind you of Bronson?
Like physically.
Like, he reminded me a lot of him. Like,
Jodorowsky's son?
Yes.
The
older
Phoenix.
Older Phoenix.
I don't know. He didn't, but if I think about it, I might be able to find my way to that.
It made him it's
okay. It was
Bronson
just
Pinchot.
It was the greasy, slicked back ponytail.
More not him as Balky Bartakis.
I got you. Okay, yes.
I'm talking
It
about
has
his serious presence.
Yes, I got you.
It makes him so because I really like Bronson Pinchot.
I do too.
I really was like really kind of in love with this character.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, Amy, like it's unforgivable what he did, but like the metaphor is so valuable for like because I think this is like super relatable to anybody who's had like
murdered 20 women.
Well, I do think it
who's
asks the
had
question.
big trauma in their life and has felt lonely and felt like
Yes.
their identity has been compromised in some way. Like the fact that the only thing you can lean on are memories of parents, right? And you're like, okay, what would they say in this situation? And if you're lucky, you've got a good memory and you've got a positive thing coming out of that. But each person has a different set. So when they hit that point, everyone hits that point. You'll hit that point. I've hit that point where you are parentless in the world.
Oh.
You are
Shut up.
You're expected to become an adult, and that's the elephant dying, right? So the elephant represents him dying, and then literally his parents. His childhood dying, and literally both his parents are now deceased, and he can't cope at all and is institutionalized. And when he finally is back out in the world and sees the dancing woman again, it triggers that memory of seeing her being the source of all this shit that went down and ruined his life. Mm-hmm. So he's so out of it, all he can lean on is the memory of his parents. So he starts dressing like his dad and he starts listening to what mom would say. And that's literally something that will happen to everybody, right? Like, so it's a human condition story in that way, where it doesn't matter what the sin is. You can plug your own personal sins into whatever he's doing,
Right.
and you can ride this metaphor like way deep. And it's really, that's why it's a great work of art, you know?
I've a bit left behind
Amy,
it.
if you guys see me wearing a sequin jacket and throwing knives around,
We're going to have you institutionalized.
do an intervention on me.
Yeah.
He looked great in it, though.
He did look
He
cool.
actually wore it really well. And it also, to what you were saying, it asked the question, and I'm not asking the question because I don't want to get into it, but it asked the question, well, is there anything where if someone can come out of something that they maybe weren't in control of, how like, I guess it asked, like, is it unforgivable? I'm not asking if it's unforgivable.
Right.
I just want to let everyone know that.
No,
I'm just saying, I think the movie definitely asks, like, how many people do you have to murder in a mania state
To be unredeemable.
To be
Well, and then
completely
also
unredeemable.
a question of not even always a question of redemption, even but like a question of like agency, because at the end he's excited that he can put his hands up for the police, because he's like they're
his
hands.
hands.
They're
Yeah.
finally my hands. That's
My
some deep,
hands are small.
it's pretty deep shit.
It was
Jewel.
very
I
deep.
know.
Yeah.
That's the second time she's come up this week.
Who's that?
I'm talking about Jewel.
Jewel.
Oh yeah, Jewel came up at our band practice. What's going on with Jewel?
She's having her moment.
Oh,
We're Jewel
interesting.
girlies.
We're jewel girlies.
Yeah.
See, I like Jewel. I like
So-
Jewel. I like turtles.
I think we all agree that this is a great
Oh,
movie.
I just wanted to say, like, I just loved the performance of young Phoenix.
Yeah,
It was like a
really
great
good.
child performance, and
He's getting
Oh,
that
yeah.
tattoo.
and I just wanted to say, like,
That was crazy.
I'm glad that it was his son, because it
Otherwise
was
it's child
to
abuse.
have somebody that you can trust so much to put you through all that stuff that he saw and went through.
Well, he definitely told him. He sat him
Yeah.
down. He said, if this movie, he goes, before he let him do it. And I think people might misinterpret this quote. The way I took what Jodorowsky said about this is like he wanted to make sure his son really wanted to do it, because he's a fucking wild man. Jodorowsky's like Johnny Knoxville for art movies, you know, like he will put people through the ringer.
The whole movie, there were moments of real danger.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous feeling movie,
like
too.
that scene where they push the elephant down the cliff and people are just sliding down that slope.
Yeah.
I was like, somebody's gonna get hurt.
That was
And
awesome.
I don't know how they did it, where Alma is like walking on that tightrope that's on fire, and it looks like
Yeah.
she's actually doing it. I was like, how it's
They
like
might have been doing it.
it's like pure movie magic at
Yeah.
certain points in this.
Oh,
like,
plenty.
because you have no idea how they did
Illusion.
this stuff.
And it does feel like, it never feels like ugly, even in its ugly moments. Like it's always just so watchable and beautiful.
It is really beautiful.
The big snake. I was going to say when the apothecary lady hits on him, he's got the big snake. I don't know what else to call that. Newsstand. What was it for real? Was it just like a newsstand, but he was
It
imagining
was like a food truck, but she was an apothecary.
But I wonder, was she really? Or was that in his imagination too? I wonder, because it seems so weird.
Oh, he probably went somewhere
Yeah.
else,
Yeah.
somewhere real, but what he was seeing was something different.
And then
I
he-
think she was real because she came by later.
She was definitely real.
Well, she was
Yeah.
definitely real, and like she's why the snake was supposed to be him getting an erection for
That's
the first
his
time.
wiener.
Yeah.
And like and that's supposed to be him being overwhelmed with that. That's
I
how-
even thought it was a
yeah.
little Pin-like.
Yeah.
It had like some connections to Pin.
Well, yeah, it's like he didn't know where to put his anger, and then he didn't know where to put his sex drive.
Yeah.
And he put his sex drive. He was like, I got to put my sex drive in the strongest physical specimen I could find.
Well, it's like I love how Jodorowsky's pushing envelopes, and like going to places that you don't expect. It makes you feel uncomfortable at times.
Well, he does stuff that is legit. Like you were saying, these are his sons he's working with. But the scene at the end in the climax where he is still her arms, and he's fighting her kind of, and it feels like they're kind of dancing around there. She's squeezing his testicles behind her back. Like literally the actor, his son, and he told her to do that. Like Jodorowsky's like, you need to reach back and just twist his balls while you guys are doing this scene, and it will sell it.
Dad.
And that's
what
what
he
they
said.
did. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. It's like method stuff, but it's like a family of method. And you're like, what's child abuse here? Maybe is it possible? I'm not going to get into it. I don't want to know right now. I honestly
But
don't.
it seems like he has the trust of all his actors.
Yeah.
And like he's not going to push them to places where they don't want to go.
Right. Well, there are people that are really like
Yeah.
artists, and they're willing to to do that stuff. And I'm thinking you don't blend like method people into like a big regular movie set or something. But
Right.
if you have a bunch of art people together who set out as a company and that's their vision together.
Yeah, it's like
different.
a John Waters group or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think about that. Like I'm like, you'll take risks, you know, and Johnny, I come back to Johnny Knoxville. I know he's not making like big art movies, but it's a similar thing where it's like, we're going to do something that is not normal. It's not governed by workplace rules at all because we're doing some kind of art, you know, even if it seems stupid and we're firing rubber dildos out of cannons and stuff. Like to them, that's probably their art.
It is for sure.
All the planning that goes into those weird stunts and stuff. It's I love this stuff. And this is exactly what you were talking about earlier. I think having movies like these are the reason that people like Scorsese, I think you said it was right, got bent out of shape about all the superhero movies. It's because this movie did eventually come out in theaters over here. It was NC-17, but it did, you know, you could go see it. So it's like, I do get that feeling of loss that, you know,
like
is
there
represented.
are filmmakers like doing that stuff. Ari Aster, I can compare.
Yeah.
Like if you saw Beau's Afraid,
I still haven't watched it.
It's very tonally very similar to this actually.
Oh, really? Okay. I've been real
Whereas
timid
like you
about
don't,
it.
it's like surreal. You don't know what's real and what's not. I think this would be actually a good double bill.
Ah.
We've talked
Cool.
about
Yeah, I've been meaning to check that out too.
what did we watch? Oh, Moon Knight.
What?
You know, one of the lesser Marvel
I'm just
characters.
saying,
I'm sorry,
both
Moon
things-
Knight fans who are also
Both things can exist at the same time.
Yeah.
Giallo fans.
Well, the funny thing is, I was like, Moon Knight deals with mental illness and all this. What is it called? The
DID, dissociative, you know,
Yeah.
multiple personalities.
yeah, and it's funny because as silly as it sounds, we got into it, and that show's pretty artfully done. It looks like a British drama. It doesn't look like a Marvel TV series. The way it's filmed, you would think you're watching like Killing Eve or Peak Practice.
So Santa Sangre, and there goes another Hispanic
thank you so
Heritage
much, Louis.
Month.
Thank you so much. Really enjoyable.
Went out with a bang.
We really did.
It's a masterpiece. I hate that word, but I feel like it
dare
is.
you.
It's true
It
though.
is though.
I told Amy
you.
I had a moment where I was like, I have to reevaluate my favorite movies of all time. I'm like, and I'm like, I've seen this.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm having it now, but if you engage with this movie
There-
where it wants you to, it will blow you away.
There were times where I got choked up.
Me
during
too.
This movie. It was just so powerful and beautiful
Yeah, but
that it overtakes you with like what they're trying to do.
yeah, me too, actually. And again, in weird places where it makes you feel weird how you're feeling, like when the clowns come and disappear, that actually made me real sad.
Yeah.
Oh, they were so sweet the way they lined up.
One, just him saying goodbye. You know, it was. I mean, they're probably still alive. I realized too, like they're not dead. They're
Right.
just. He's
They're
only
just
a few years
not
older.
here.
but,
Yeah.
like, I mean, they might be dead.
I mean, who knows?
Kelly, if you haven't seen Holy Mountain, you might want
well,
to check
Alise
that
said
out.
we should watch Holy Mountain. Yeah,
Amy, I don't think you've seen Holy Mountain. Has a lot of male nudity in it, if I remember right.
You know,
That's right.
I love it.
But that would be it's good. He has another movie I haven't seen because I heard it wasn't good called Tusk, I think. But man, Santa Sangre and
Santa
Holy
Sangre.
Mountain, the two of them, real good stuff.
Santa.
Santa's angry.
Sangre.
Santa Sangre. Play my guitar for Santa Sangre.
Y'all got some of that sangre on the menu? That wine with the fruits in it?
It's paint.
Okay. At the end of every show, we say hi to our Beelzebubs. Patreon.com/NOTLP. For all of that,
More.
Alise.
I love you. I'll see you in just a few minutes.
Alyssa. Branan and Emily.
Are you whispering?
Jeffel. Iona Goodwin.
I want a great one. Little old lady only drove me back and forth to church on Sundays.
Dr. Brian.
It's a Dr. Brian, but it's got a Toshiba guts.
Old Dirty Bill stirred. Oh, the Halloween League. Our movies we're starting here.
Oh,
next,
yeah,
this
Halloween
coming
League
weekend. So we'll
starts
be
the
posting
first.
on our socials what our
Oh,
calendar
shit.
is. What are we starting with?
The very first one's The Gate.
The Gate.
Good choice,
Yeah.
everybody.
Right out the gate.
Good
So
choice.
if you're a patron or anyone on our Discord server, the Halloween League is a text channel. We'll be discussing the movies every day of October in there. And Amy and I decided on the nights that our picks are showing, we would hop into the voice channel and just kind of chill and
To make sure that people are properly appreciating.
And if people want to talk about, well, we're gonna do what we say 8:00 on the nights that our picks are on there. That we'll just have it open and be ready to bullshit with people at 8:00 Eastern.
Okay.
Was the plan? Of course, we might have been stoned, and she doesn't remember this. So
No, that's fine. I just want to keep going.
Halloween League.
So Bill's helping
There you
us
go.
with that.
Thank you, Bill.
Bill Farner, Frosted Blakes, Blayne yogurt.
Oh, Blayne's dog just had a birthday. So.
Oh, happy birthday, Blayne's
Happy
dog.
birthday, Lulu.
birthday,
I hope you got
yogurt.
the Tiffany.
Jordache Jeans, Paul, Jeremy, Cassie, and Gamora, Ernie, Dave Siebert, Monica, and Dustin.
Yeah, boy.
Thank you guys.
All right. Hooday. Wish us luck.
Bye.
Halloween League.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed when his old buddy Leatherface put on Dawn of the Dead. And Igor made the nachos in a severed human head, and they'd enjoy the movie with their friends. David Kessler walks the streets of London on four legs, while high above him Ellen Ripley finds some funny eggs. And Freddy laughs at Nancy in her nightmares as she begs to have just one more moment with her friends. In a world where evil is and always just pretend, and it seems as though the darkness never ends. Give me lots of popcorn and some time that I can spend to watch some monster movies with